Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Clark. I'm the Operations Coordinator with the New York State Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Thank you for being here today, and I apologize for the delay. We had some technical issues. While I'm going over some logistics, please feel free to take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat box. So we will have all audio lines muted for everyone today. So please post any questions or comments you have about today's presentation in the chat box. We will have time at the end for a question and answer period, and we'll make sure that there will be a list of resources if anything comes up that will be shared with everybody in attendance. We do have closed captioning enabled for today's session. You can turn that on by using the buttons in your toolbar. You should have one related to closed captioning or view live transcript. There is a link in the chat box to today's presentation if you would like to view the materials offline. And with that, I will hand it over to Naseem Sarabandi.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Sorry again for the delay in starting. In the interest of time, I will try to be very short. Thank you for being here, and thank you to my colleague and captioners, Jennifer Clark and the captioners. I want to introduce very briefly Nicole. She presented our previous session too, and she's our amazing presenters for this series on the survivor career empowerment and what advocates need to know. She's the coordinator of the STEP program at the YWCA, Union County, New Jersey. STEP is a skills training and empowerment program. And she has been working with survivors on their career developments for years. She also holds a Master of Social Work from Rutgers University. And I want to welcome her and thank you so much for all she has done. And I hope you enjoyed this webinar and join us for 2 other webinars in the month of August. I'm gonna hand it to Nicole. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for going to this one. I enjoyed the last one too. But we have 4 because it's just, there's so much to go over about each step for clients. So this one is going to be all about planning your career. We don't always, not a lot of people get the chance to be able to sit down and actually plan. A lot of the time in colleges now, you'll get a counselor or someone to help build your plan after high school or even in college, what happens after college. That wasn't always there. And unless you kind of know where to go for that resource, it's hard to start planning on your own, especially when you bring in everything that comes with domestic violence. So I just think it's important to go over, what it's like for planning for clients. So these are some of the things that hopefully are answered during the presentation. Understanding the basics of career planning with clients and the benefits it can have, of course. Understanding what prevents clients from doing that. The steps taken to successfully create at least a basic career plan, something to start off. We have some really good resources to help clients achieve their goals. And then we're going to look at a different type of career. I wanted to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, which is getting a lot more popular with clients if they either can't find work or don't want to work for someone and want to be their own boss. So those are some of the things we're going to go over. But if you have any questions, just please put it in the chat and then they'll let me know and then I can answer anything. But as I did for the first one last time, I always start with a self-reflection because, again, whenever we go into a certain topic with clients, we have to look back at our own lives and say, okay, what was my experience with this? Was it easy for me to pick a career? Was it maybe already set out for me? Did I know what I wanted to do since I was 5 and, had the opportunity to do it? Or if not, did you start off a career, get to the point of having your master's and then have to do it all over again because you wanted to do something else? if you can somehow remember that feeling of not knowing what to do, that's going to help you work with clients because you can kind of see where they are. And it's really frustrating and stressful not knowing, well, listen, what do I want to do? Especially if someone's maybe 40 or 50. And at that point, they think it's they can't even go for a career, which is wrong. You can still do that. But look at your own experience and see how it was for you. It's going to help you work with the clients a little. When you look at your own career, does it fit your personality type? Or did you go for something that was a little different than, how you are as a person? And then when did you realize you wanted to do that? Did you, again, realize when you were younger or realize when you were maybe 25, 30, and then you had to, maybe change careers at that point? So these are some of the things that the clients can be going through, just like all of us go through at a certain point. It's just at different times. So always reflect on your own experience before, helping the client. Big thing is actually defining the terms, because there is a difference between a job and a career. The job you're in can be part of your career, but it is separate. So a job, it can be short term. A lot of the time it's just for making money. So that's if you're in like customer service or restaurant work or, something not as career related. It's really just for making money and getting settled, right? It doesn't always have as much room for growth, especially if you're maybe like a cashier and you don't want to become like the manager of the store. You're not going to want to grow in that place. It's kind of just a stepping stone for what you're doing next, right? And sometimes it doesn't require as much work experience or preparation, just like when you see like going for warehouse jobs, Amazon, things like that, which can also be a career, of course. But if someone just applies for that for money, it's a job. It's not something you're going to be at for the rest of your life, or something you want to focus on for the rest of your life. And again, sometimes you don't even choose the job you want. You kind of, it falls into your lap and you're like, this is good enough until I start making money, right? So sometimes it's not even what you want, which happens. But the career is something you choose. It's the decision that, listen, this is what I want to do for the next 10 to 20 years. It's a big decision to make, but it's something that you choose yourself. Something you plan for and develop. It offers longevity. So it's for a long period of time, so the jobs you have in your career, they're a stepping stone to, to a nurse once you get to that point, right? And then it offers benefits. It's just more stable in the long run. Job security, benefits is expensive. You don't have to pay out of pocket. You're just paying from your income. But defining those two things is very important. Of course, where to start. As always with anything when it comes to workforce and financial development, when the clients are in that active domestic violence situation, they may have more important things going on, which is fine. That doesn't mean they can't do any of these things, but it may be harder to fully engage them in the conversation. Their minds may be elsewhere. Maybe they realize, this is not a time for me to be talking about it. Or they can put it on pause and say, listen, I may want to have this discussion a little later, right? But it's up to them. We always say the client is the professional in their experience. They know what's best for them and what's best for what they're going through right now. So if they have other pressing matters, then it's fine. Then you kind of move on from that conversation, and it can come up later on, maybe when they're dealing with less court, or they're dealing with something else. But just start the conversation just to see how the client feels about it. You don't want to, again, push too hard, because this is probably after a few sessions, after you've been able to build a rapport with them. They kind of trust you, they trust your advice. But if you start pushing too hard on something that they push back on, that's not empowering them. That's kind of making what we want for them more important than what they want for them, if that makes sense. So it's really all about the client. We want to make it about them and not what we want for them to do. So we start when the client's ready. I always started with, if you could have your dream job, what would it be? Whatever they say, that's what I start with. You know, if they say as a child I wanted to do this, you know, start with that. The biggest thing is, you know, saying dream job or dream career. I like to start with that, but hopefully in time, get rid of that dream and just make it a reality, because it doesn't always have to be a dream. You know, clients may say it's my dream to do this, or I really want to do this, but it's attainable. We want them to see that it's not a dream anymore. It's something that you can actually reach for, you know, as long as you really try and you're motivated to do it. So make the daydream into a reality. You know, I've always wanted to have my own business. So that's where you start the conversation about, oh, wow, so any business ideas you're going through, you know, that's where the conversation starts. And then I've had a few people say, you know, cooking is my passion. So also it's normally followed with, it's not really for me. But you don't want to stop there. You want to say, well, we don't want to cross that off right away. You know, let's look at maybe some culinary courses in the area. You know, so if they may say what they really want to do, but then give a reason of why they can't do it. That's what I've seen is kind of followed with that. But you want to break that down, because you don't want it to always be like, oh, but I can't do that, but it's not possible. Well, let's see if it's possible. Let's see if it's something you can attain, and, you know, and you're going to end up being happier for it for clients, right? And that's what we want for clients. We want them to do what they want and not like they're forced to do something. Normally, this is just an example of a career, like if the client's going through healthcare, right? Normally, they're starting off as a home healthcare aide. That's like one of the most basic. I have a lot of clients who, you know, they're interested in the healthcare field and helping people, and they're always asking, what's a good place to start? And home health aide it really is a good place to start, because depending on, I know in New Jersey, the trainings aren't too expensive. And a lot of the time they'll give you a credit back after the training if they hire you, right, for home health aid. So it could be a good place to start off for clients. Don't make that much in the beginning, unfortunately, especially when you're going for a career. It's not a fast process. You're going to not make that much money in the beginning, which is stressful, but it's you're going towards goal, right? So $9 to $11 an hour, depending. I think in New York it may be, I know you guys are $15, but you know, again, it's starting on the lower end. You don't need a lot of education for this. So I've had clients when they came from Cuba, Peru, if they didn't get their high school diploma or their high school degree, they're still able to do this class. You know, so it depends where, but you just really need to be reliable, and that's where you can start working on your skills. Moderate skills, that's when you go to the patient care technician. It's going to be more money you're receiving, probably more than 15 when you look at New York. You do need your high school diploma, and you need more of an advanced certificate, right? So when going up for a career, when you're a home health aide, you may be getting your certificate while you're a home health aide to become a PCT, because they have the patient care technician training you have to go through, right? So there's a process to everything. You have to be doing one thing while you're at the job. You know, you have to continually be taking a training or getting a certificate. So that's building a career. And then at the very highest level, registered nurse, they definitely make more than $24 an hour now. But that's when you get your bachelor in nursing and your state letter. That's towards like the end of, that's kind of like your peak of your career for medical, for healthcare. So you can see that it's a process. It's a long process, but that's what you're there for, to help the client. Very important, we want to make sure that their skill set is highlighted in the most positive way possible. Because again, when you go through the domestic violence they've been through, they're going to have less self-confidence. So we have to build that up to say, listen, you have all these skills. There is the possibility of having a career. Everything you went through does not define you, and it's not going to define what you do in life. I always like telling clients that, and it's just, you have to reassure them, because it's engulfed their life for so long, thinking about it not being there and replacing it with something positive. Sometimes it's hard to think of that when they're in the middle of the domestic violence situation. But that's why we want to bring everything in a more positive light. So listen, you have all these skills, let's break it down. So you have the job specific skills. So that's when you're going for something like very specific, where you have work in as a paralegal, which you're specifically conducting legal research and preparing motions. Same thing with an auto mechanic. You're rebuilding a transmission and then running computer diagnostics on the car. So those are very job specific, knowledge and skills needed for one particular job. So those can be developed through education, normally job training programs, or even on the job. When it comes to that, people learn through experience. If they don't have I have a client example that she learns through experience instead of education. But in the end, that can kind of hold you back because sometimes you need those certifications, so again, that's where the process is. But that's job specific skills. And then employability skills. I always let clients know that who you are and your personality traits is going to make you more employable. It's the skills that the workplace wants. So these are the skills that a boss wants in a worker. They describe your work style and make you a valuable employee. So that could be punctuality, having a positive attitude, depending on the type of work. If it's a type of work where you have to work alone a lot of the time, that's where you would put, listen, I'm a good independent worker. I don't need much direction. That would be an employability skill because it's part of your personality, but it's going to help you in your workplace. That's why it's important to put those on the resume. I get a lot of people saying, but does it really matter to put that I'm patient and personable on my resume? But honestly, I think it does. They're looking for those key terms, those key personality traits as well. And that's what they're looking for in an interview when we get to that point. So all these skills are very important. And then transferable skills, ones where you can bring to a variety of jobs and occupations. So writing or public speaking would be big ones. You're going to bring that from job to job. Organization as well, that's a big one. Knowing how to organize files, how to organize your workday. And those are in demand across the job market. They'll help you establish a good future job security because you build over time through all the jobs you have. So they just continue to build on each other. Just to remind the client, sometimes you don't have to remind them, but it takes a long time to build a career. Time, patience, motivation, and this whole process, this whole career planning process, it does not take 1 to 2 sessions. This is something that you want to drag out for a few sessions because it's a lot. And because of the stress that they're going through as well, you want to be able to take it slow and stop for questions and make sure they understand everything. So you want to take your time going through this with clients because this may be the first time they're career planning, or this could be the second time they're career planning. They already had their first career and now they have to feel like they have to start all over again. So it's going to be a little harder and, the frustration will build. So go with the client's pace, of course. I'm not going to click on this mostly because we had technical difficulties. I don't want to get stuck, but it was just a 3-minute video on the process of career planning. So it went through, this person went to high school and then got their bachelor's in editing. So they wanted to do that. They tried doing that for 2 years and it didn't work out. They hated it. So they got their bachelor's, they went through all the school and they ended up not liking it. And then they were like, okay, so I'm going to get my master's in something different. I'm going to get my master's in criminal justice, right? So you go through that. Then you maybe work to 2 years in that. You don't like that. So, okay, now what? Now what am I doing? And in the end, it shows the process of even going through all that, you will eventually find something that you love. But it's a lot, it's not ideal. It's not like it says the fantasy career planning. It's not always like you pick what you want to do and it works for 30 years, right? That's not as normal. You're going to go through a struggle to get to that point sometimes. But then when you do, you have a career, you're set. So some of the things that may stop them from wanting to career plan, if they seem hesitant about it, well, we're going to get to that, but if they seem hesitant about it, don't bring up career then. Just make it as, okay, so we don't have to talk about career. Let's talk about maybe the jobs that you love to do, either your favorite jobs in your past, or what you enjoy to do as a hobby, or just like something, what do you like to do? Keep the conversation going with that. Keep the conversation going about what makes your life worth it, what makes you happy to do in life, right? So just get rid of the career planning for now. You know, it seems like there may be a negative connotation with that. Again, depending on what the client's been through, I'll talk about another client who there was just this negative connotation with career and career planning. She didn't really want to talk about it. So if you get that hesitancy, make it about something else. Make it about, okay, what gives your life meaning? What do you enjoy to do? So bring it down a level like that. And then keep it going, talk about strengths, motivations. You know, if you feel like if the client's talking and they pretty much say that they love helping and talking to people, and then their passion is cooking. So maybe don't bring it up, and in the back of your mind, you can say, okay, so it's maybe like customer service, food handler, host. Again, it seems like they don't want to do some career planning, so don't mention any of that, but that's how you can get the conversation started without bringing up career planning, right? Kind of have to mask it as something else. Because you don't want to stop talking about it completely because the client, you know, they may give some pushback. You just have to bring it in a different light to make them more comfortable. It's all about how comfortable they are. So these are some of the why. So of course, the emotional effects of domestic violence can be debilitating to wanting to succeed in the future. Just low self-confidence in general. You know, I don't have the capability to career plan. I don't have time to do any of those things now. You know, he's not going to let me do it. And then fearful of the reaction from the abuser if they are still with them, if he or she starts seeing this person better themselves and start reaching goals because of the want of controlling their partner, they're going to want to shut that down, right? So it's hard to have it been shut down so many times, saying, no, you can't have a career. You have other things to do, right? That's what the abuser is going to continue to say. You can't have that because I don't want you to have that, right? That's where that power and control comes in. So because of all those emotional effects, it's going to be hard to plan for the future when you've been held back, right? When this client has been held back. And that's when that negative self-talk is going to come up. I don't have time to take the class. The career I want doesn't pay enough. I get that a lot. And then it's too late for me to start a career. So those are very realistic. They can be true sometimes, but it's something that they have to push past, right? With time, you know, you're not going to just say, okay, get over it. That's not how it works, of course, but you have to work through it. You have to see where that came from. Like, where is the negative self-talk coming from? It has to be from what they've been through in their experience. Or it's just not knowing. Not knowing what's going to happen is fear itself. Is not knowing the unknown. It's hard, so you're going to sometimes go to that negative self-talk, and clients do a lot. And if clients have lack of support or resources to properly plan, that's going to make it a little slower too. They need that person or that support to push them towards that positive change, to kind of go against their negative self-talk. We can do as much as we can as advocates, but we can't do what other support systems can for clients when it comes to family and friends, right? It's very, very important for clients. So it's really up to them what they want, what resources they want. But there is always still this hesitancy with career, not always, I'm sorry, but there is this hesitancy still with career planning. So if the client needs to change career paths due to the abuse, it could add another level of stress. That's happened before for clients. They were in a career, it was pretty much destroyed by their relationship, and they don't even want to think of it anymore. They don't want to go back to what they were doing because it just has this painful memory now. So it's going to add another level, like, okay, so I took all the time to do that, to plan that career. Now I have to start all over again. So that frustration, everyone feels that frustration when they feel like they have to start all over. It's tough, but you just kind of have to continue to push forward. Do they want to continue with what they were doing, or do they want to change it completely? Regardless of either one they choose, we're there for them and we're going to support them in what they need. It just depends. And again, the uncertainty of learning something completely new can be nerve-wracking, especially while everything else is going on. A lot of the time when people aren't going through domestic violence and things like that, it's still hard to push yourself out of the comfort level, right? And that's when you go back to the self-reflection of, okay, I know how hard it is to push myself to learn something new. I can't even comprehend what it's like for a client to have to learn something new and then be berated as well by their abuser, or still dealing with either mental, physical effects from it, right? So it makes sense. This hesitancy makes complete sense. It's just something that has to be dealt with when speaking with clients. So I've had clients say, I don't want a career at all. Again, that's where they are. So you kind of have to take that. Sometimes it'll take me aback sometimes if they say it really like emotion, like I really don't want a career. I'm done. I just want to live, just to have job to job to job, right? So that's when you have to talk it through. Just be patient if there's pushback. Even after going through the positives with them, even saying, it's going to help you get job security, it's going to help you get benefits, you may still get a no, which again, change can only happen if they're willing to do so. Again, we can't blame them for not wanting to maybe start something like this, again, because of everything they've been through. Don't force the conversation. Give them some time to think. At least you brought it up. So now they kind of either they have it in their head or they pushed it away, but they may be thinking about it. It could be in their head now. They're just going to need more time, and that depends on where they are in the healing process as well. So there's so much more that goes into this than regular career planning. So this is my client who did not want to have any career planning discussion at first. She said she was 45. She said it was too late. She lost her chance to start. This client, she'd been through a lot. She was forced to drop out of school 20 years ago, and then she just never wanted to do anything else after that, because she was like, what's the point? I'm going to be forced to end it anyway. She was now able to leave her husband after 20 or so years, and her children are older. So now she has the capability to start career planning, but it's still a very emotional thing for her. So she couldn't. She got emotional. She was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. There's too much hurt in it, too much negative memory. That's fine, right? So my job is not to continually push her until she, gets angry and hangs up on me or leaves. This is something that's very real experience for her. If we don't respect that, we don't validate and respect that, then that rapport that you've built with that client is going to completely deteriorate. We have to validate what they're going through, say, listen, it makes sense, like what you've been through is your experience and very real, so we don't have to talk about it anymore. Just reassure them. So, because then when I'm speaking with her, I don't want her to think that I'm always going to bring it up, because then she's not going to answer my calls for sessions, right? So there's all these things that go into it. But this client went through a lot, and I have an update on her at the end. This client had a rough too. She was with her husband for 25 years, and they ran a computer repair business together. And that's where she learned all of her skills. She didn't have any certifications. She's a very smart lady. She pretty much taught herself everything of how to repair computers. I know her husband taught her a few things. And she can perform probably more than entry level in fixing computers and things like that. But, she left him. She didn't have any of the certifications. All the jobs we were looking at were saying you need the CompTIA. There's a whole other certification process when it comes to computer processing and fixing, but she needed all these types of certifications. So she was looking at that list of what she needed, and she's like, this seems a little tough. Maybe I don't want to do it. So sometimes when they do see the whole process, they're like, maybe not. Maybe this is too long of a process. And I have an update on her as well. But as you can see, you guys, everyone probably in this has clients and has seen this before, right? So it's just, you continually see it, and then you kind of learn how to deal with each situation. If a client asks, why do I need a career? Which I don't normally have a client ask that. They normally do see the positives of it. It's just the process of getting there. But of course, higher wages, salary, and benefits towards the end, you know, once you've gotten to that certain point, you're going to start making more money, get good benefits, find stable employment. This is one of the things where sometimes people feel stuck at a job. That could still happen if you have a job in your career, but you're still going towards something. If you have a job as a home health aide and you're there for 5 years, sometimes you may be like, I've been here too long, I got to do something else. It's still beneficial because it's still working towards, that's still 5 years of your career, 5 years experience. So that's just building on top of each other, regardless of, I've had 20 years in the healthcare field. That starts with the home health aide, right? Stable employment, more years of work experience in a specific area. So again, when you're finding specific jobs, as long as you have that experience and those certifications, you're a good candidate. Getting elevated work titles, it's nice to be able to maybe put letters after your name. That's really empowering as a woman as well. Clients say that all the time too. They've always loved to have letters after your name. When I got my license as LSW, I was putting at the end of my name for everything, but then when you have to continually sign things, you don't want to put the LSW there anymore. But that work title, it makes people feel good. It's tangible. It's, wow, this is something I've got from 10 years of hard work. And then increased responsibility and productivity. You grow as a person, you grow as a professional. And that's what I like telling them as well. It's you become a better you because you're going towards something that you really want and that you're good at, right? Going from job to job can get very tiring if you don't like what you're doing, which makes sense. The funny thing is, I've had clients who love warehouse work, like that's their career. It's hard. You don't want to look down on some careers. Sometimes there's a career in McDonald's. There's a career in customer service. It's just defining it for them. But you have a career in anything. You don't want to look down on anything. I have clients with 20 years warehouse experience and they love doing it and they make a lot of money and you get into unions, things like that. So there's just so many things you can do. So there are, of course, steps, choosing the field of work, finding further education and training, detailed job searching, setting professional goals, and then finding necessary resources, right? Choosing the field of work, you can find so many career tests online. That's what I'll start with sometimes, but you have to let the clients know, listen, this isn't 100% accurate, but it'll just look at your personality and it'll go through your preference of, okay, if you wanted to work, where would you work, pretty much. So it kind of opens up to the client on, okay, so this is a test that'll kind of show you what job you may enjoy. Right, that's how you can look at it. But with the Allstate curriculum we use the Picture Interest Career Survey. And this is just we can always, I think we have your emails, we can always forward it to you guys if you're interested, or email me and I can always forward it. I have my information at the end, but it's a packet, so it's a few pages. But it's really easy. It's pictures too, so even if I have Spanish-speaking clients, they can understand it. And it summarizes everything pretty well at the end. But pretty much as you're going through it, you go through each row, and the client has to pick what they rather do in that row, right? And I'll tell clients, if you rather not do any of them, you still have to pick one. Just pick the one you would least hate, right? Again, I let them know it's not 100% accurate, but it goes by personality type. So if you see the RIASEC, those are all different personality types that they define at the end. So these are all of them. Realistic. So if they picked the certain photos that are mechanics, heating and air technicians, computer repair, it's all very physical. That's where warehouse would go as well. Working with tools, machines, and equipment, building and repairing things may require being with outdoors and deals less with people. deals with things more than people. So if someone's not a people person and they kind of just like doing their work and not being bothered with anyone else, this is a good choice for you, right? So a lot of times when my clients take these, it is normally right. They're like, okay, that makes sense. That sounds like me, right? So that's the one. Investigative, that's when the crime lab investigators, scientists, medical researchers, that's something a lot more detailed. Very task oriented. Again, you may like working alone. That has more to do with gathering information and analyzing data. My client, when she works with computers, that would be investigative as well. So solving theoretical problems or physical problems. And then artistic is the actors, artists, journalists, chefs, you know, anything that shows self-expression, art, music, or writing. They're more creative. They like creativity more than structure, and enjoys performing or watching others perform, things like that. And then social teachers, social workers, therapists. This is for the clients who really want to help people, and they enjoy speaking with people. That's where you'll see the customer service as well. They're able to, they have the patience to listen to people and explain things. They're good with their communication skills to help others reach their potential, right? And then enterprising is the salespeople. You know, customer service, that's separate. But when it comes to sales, like maybe insurance sales or politicians, working in a business executive, very good with communication skills when it comes to persuading and influencing others. They may like money. This is something that's like, listen, I want to make a lot of money. I want to make a profit. A lot of the time, the clients will fall under this. Like, I want to live well. I want to make money. And they prefer tasks that offer leadership opportunities. This may be someone who's more of a leader, right? And then conventional is like office managers, accountants, human resources, professionals, prefers highly ordered activities. So very, very organized activities with a pattern, right? That's kind of ongoing. Like an office manager, you're doing a lot of the same thing, but if that's something they enjoy, then that's something they do. You have to be very organized with some mathematical skills and written skills. And they're very clear on detail because a lot of the time they'll have team members that have to work under them as well. So very, very specific with details. Okay, getting into some further education. So again, this depends on what they want to do. A lot of the time they'll need more training, you know, especially if this is something new they're getting into. Sometimes if clients have, I'll get clients that have, I have some college experience in what I want to do, which is great because then they may be able to skip a training or two. But these are important to be able to move up in their career, right? So always make sure to look for trainings with clients on accredited sites. So when you're looking for trainings, it depends on, like when you're looking at websites like .com, you want to make sure that it's an actual, the license or certification you're getting is on an accredited either university or institution. A lot of the time if it's not like a college, it'll be a training institution where they're accredited to give those kinds of certifications. So you just want to make sure you do your research with the client so they kind of learn how to do it as well. But so they're not spending money on something that's not going to go towards their career, right? If they're just starting off, try to get more easily accessible trainings, like more basic trainings, I would say. I was looking through the Red Cross website. They have so many certifications and so many trainings. Lifeguarding, there's babysitting, childcare. But a lot of the time, like if a client's first starting off in the health field and it's like, listen, I want to like dip my toes in and see how it is, you know, start off with first aid, CPR, or even, you know, start off with a certified nursing assistant. There's classes that build to that for Red Cross, but that's a really good, Red Cross is great when it comes to that, and either really cheap or free. Certifications for information technology industries. A lot of these are online and you can start the processes online. So this is when clients want to work in technology. I don't get a lot of clients like that. I've had maybe around 5 recently that they were kind of looking for something like this. And they can go to specific website. Again, .org is very, very good when it comes to accredited. So you want to make sure you're looking at the right websites. And then home health aid certifications, again, something very easily accessible. Honestly, most local HHA agencies have the training, at least a lot in New Jersey. I don't know what it's like for New York, but a lot of the local agencies do the training and then sometimes hire afterwards. But again, they're going to be all different costs. Some of them may be free, but it's doing that research with them and seeing what's out there. So they may say they don't have time to take a class, or that it costs a lot of money to do, which again makes sense. If their schedule's completely full, sometimes they're still going through court processes. It's hard to be able to start trainings, especially if their mind is not completely on the training. So again, this is why it's so important to know what the client wants and not force them to do something like this, because they want to do something like this when they can concentrate and when they're ready, right? Reaching out to local organizations to see if you can get financial assistance will help with the barrier. But it's really just reaching out and trying to find those places. Like in New Jersey, we have something called a one-stop career center. A lot of the time, that's where clients will go if they can't pay for training. They'll go there and see if they can get some financial assistance. And again, they should want to do the training to help their career. You don't want to pressure them into doing something that you know will benefit them, but again, they're not ready for. So it's just doing the research for the further education. And then once they start and they enjoy doing it, that's when they're going to want to continue. That's going to motivate them to keep going, is dipping their feet in and saying, okay, I really don't like this, let's do something else. Or, wow, let me continue doing this, I really like it. So it's trial and error. It's that trial and error, but sometimes when a client is let down, like, wow, I really thought I was going to like this, but I don't like it. That could be another setback that may, self-confidence may, wow, okay, I thought that was something I wanted to do. I guess it's not something I want to do. So it's a process, and you're just there with them through the whole thing, or as much as possible that you can be. But we want to make sure, again, that they're doing this, we want them to be able to do this on their own when we're not there. So when I'm going through all this is for your knowledge to be able to give to them. Do it with them, you can be there, but make sure they know how to do it. Make sure they know how to search for these trainings, search for this financial assistance. It's building that independence is what you continually have to bring into the sessions. I wanted to bring up a really good scholarship that has helped a few of my clients. It's the Women's Independent Scholarship Program. If people heard of WISP before, it started as the Sunshine Lady Foundation in 1999 with Doris Buffett as the founder and president. They pretty much aid survivors in paying for education to get a living wage and to build financial self-sufficiency, right? It's available nationally, mostly for clients who have left the relationship and are pursuing an education. But they have to have left I believe I have the eligibility next, but sadly, there were no applications last year, so they're restarting in 2022. So if you do have clients who are interested in some sort of education or certification, this would be good. They don't give $10,000; it's around $500 to $2,000, but it's a start for a certification. So eligibility, they have to be, it's for women, female survivors of DV. They have to be separated from their abuser for a minimum of 1 year, but no more than 7 years. I was kind of looking into why they say for a year. And if I had to put my professional opinion on it, I'm guessing that they want to make sure that the person's not gonna fall back and not continue with their education if they're still in the middle of the domestic violence relationship, right? It's harder to build yourself when you're still in that relationship, or even if you're still in the recovery process, they're kind of giving you that year saying, get yourself together, being able to really be ready for what you're going through. I'm always like, why is it a year? But I think that may be why. And then they have to receive services from a nonprofit agency for 6 consecutive months. So this is for clients I've been working with for a while. if the clients weren't specifically in the STEP program, but still getting DV services, I'll still count that. But with our agency, it has to be with one agency. It can go towards tuition, books, and fees paid directly to the institution. They normally, in the past, they've called the institution directly and they're able to do it like that. And then they have something separate. It's the Charitable Adjunct Assistant Award. And that's educated related living expenses. So they'll actually pay for you to be able to live while getting this education. And it's paid to the sponsoring agency on behalf of the recipient. So pretty much we would get the money to be able to help them. I haven't gotten that yet though. I only had clients specifically ask for just money towards the school, not for living expenses as well, but that is an option too. But yeah, $500 to $2,000 per semester or quarter, which isn't that bad when you think of like certifications, things like that. They don't have to be a student for full time because again, if this is a certification course, it depends on the number of credits that can influence the amount you're getting. If you're not taking a lot of credits, if it's a smaller course, you're probably not getting maybe $2,000. Then I just put the picture of the process. It is a long process. They have the, they do have to be able to write in English, write as best as they can. I've had a client who, she wrote pretty well, but I went through and edited it, you know, it just helped out a little. But there's like a screening process. They apply, fill out the application. They have to write their narrative. They have to get all their documents, which is annoying in itself. They have a student aid report, income tax return to make sure that their clients aren't making a lot of money. Because, you know, it is financial assistance. So it's a long process, but it's worth it in the end, I would say, for clients. Okay, so very detailed job searching is another thing. So you're not just looking for any job with them. You're looking for a job that's going to help them in what they want to do, right? So this is when they have a path. They said, okay, this is what the path I want to go down. Let's look at jobs relevant to that. What's going to help me reach my goal in my career? So I always tell clients, if they're unemployed, you know, and they're receiving unemployment, that's when we can start applying for the jobs to help in their career. But if they're currently at a job that's not relevant to their career path, I let them know, listen, financial independence is still important. You need money to survive still. You know, if they're not getting unemployment, if they just quit their job and they don't have any money to kind of fall back on, you don't want that happening. So I always let them know, listen, stay at this job for now for financial purposes. But then while you're at that job, continue to apply for jobs for the purpose of your career, right? You can do both at the same time. And then once you get that job that you really want, that's when you can quit. But you want to make sure that they're not falling back on nothing. And again, some important questions to ask themselves: how does this job help me get the experience I need in my career? How is this helping, right? What experiences am I missing that this job can offer me? So there could be some characteristics that you're missing. You know, there could be, I haven't had a lot of like note-taking jobs. Maybe you need some more of that. So when you're trying to find a job, you're going to go through the responsibilities and say, okay, is this job going to teach me what I need? So that's when you go through the responsibilities of what you're going to learn and what you need to do with that job. And if that coincides with the career they want, then perfect. That's what they apply to. But it's more specific. You need to be more careful with the jobs you're searching for, because you don't want to get this job, be there for 2 weeks, and then have to go through the process again. If this is a job you may be at for more than a year, right? There's just longevity to it. And then what am I expecting this job to be like? Make sure it still fits your schedule. You want to make sure it still fits everything else, so it's a comfortable job for you to have. Are there any questions, by the way, or is everyone good so far? I didn't want to just need to speed through. Naseem, is there any questions in the chat, or is everyone good?
There's one question when you were talking about certificates from Nancy. She's been asking, like, what about nutritionist certifications? Where can I start looking for a client? You know, I don't know.
Okay. So where to start finding certifications?
Yeah, for a nutritionist certifications.
Gotcha. So there's actually resources we'll go over at the end. There's a lot of places to go find some certifications and things like that. So we'll go over that at the end and just make sure all questions are answered. Let's see. Setting professional goals, right? Clients who are actively planning, just to keep it goal oriented is very good because it's something you can reach, right? That's what people like seeing. They like being able to see that I'm improving on something. So always writing down their professional goals and then building from that. Choosing a career is really one of the most empowering decisions that you can make. You really, at that point, you've taken control of your life and said, this is what I'm going to do. And no one else can tell me otherwise, pretty much, right? But the goal setting, it'll assist the clients in keeping track of their career plan. For example, if they have a goal of finding a training relevant to getting the necessary license to become a security guard. I've had a few clients who wanted to be security guards, which is pretty cool. Make sure they have a deadline for that. So if they have I want to get this training by this time, by this time period, you want to make sure it's attainable and it's within a good time period. It's not like in 3 years, I want to get one certification. It may, if that's the way it is, if there's no other way to do it quicker for them, then that's fine. But you want to give them the information on doing it as quickly as possible if you can. If not, again, that's okay. Again, for the client's benefit, you want to make sure to go to the correct website. So I just looked up, Security Guard New York, and you go right to a .gov website, and it goes through. You need like a 10-hour training. It goes through everything you need step by step. So a lot of the time when I'm trying to find certifications, when it comes to state, I'll go to the state website. I'll go to the Department of Labor website. And a lot of the time that's where the information will be, especially if it's like licensures or actual state certifications, which changes again each state. But setting these goals is important. So if they have their career plan, at least a very basic one, at least they'll know certifications they're going to need maybe in the next 2 years, right? It's good to know that because of the certification you're going to need in maybe 2 years after experience or things like that. If that's going to be like $2,000, have them start saving for that now. Put that in their budget to be able to start saving for the classes they're going to end up needing in 2 to 3 years, right? And that's where that plan comes in. It's not just a career plan. It's not just, okay, this is the job I want to do. Let's get to that point. It takes a while. You're going to have to save money to be able to get more of the education you need, right? This is what you want to talk to clients about. It's just realistic. It's true. It's going to cost money. Unfortunately, we can't pay for everything. There's not always financial assistance out there, but if there is, we want to be able to find them. And a lot of when I'm trying to find certifications for clients, they will have payment plans, which is good. Like sometimes they have to pay half in the beginning and then half at the end. So that may be able to help clients if they're, currently working and saving, if they can pay for half now and pay for half later. So there's a lot more that they can do. They can break it down like that. So this is where I wanted to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. I had a lot of clients, especially last year, especially during the pandemic when they were stuck at home, couldn't find work. They were like, only some clients, not everyone, but they said, I've been wanting to be a business owner forever. I've been wanting to learn more skills to become a business owner. This may be the time, right? So after so long of applying to jobs, people get frustrated and they'll say, I don't want to work for anyone. I want to have my own business, right? When it comes to that, when it comes to like entrepreneurship, financial independence is going to take a little longer, right? And that's what you want clients to, you don't want to discourage clients from becoming entrepreneurs. I think it's amazing that they want to do it. And, businesses can grow when you have the resources, but you need to let them know it's a slow process, just like a career. It's going to take a while to build income, to build resources, to build assets you need for the business. So it still takes a while. It's just like building a career. But as well, it can be overwhelming if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and then have a job as well. So many clients, they'll call their business a side hobby, like they'll have a full-time job, but then they'll sew. I have a client who had a full-time job and then she sewed and made clothing on the side. And she would sell it and she had her business, but it was really hard to do both. So a lot of the time they'll have that full-time job, but honestly, all their time and energy is going into this business. And it's just taking that last step and quitting the other job. But if clients don't feel financially comfortable, they're not going to do that. But when working with clients who want to be entrepreneurs, resources are the most important thing, because I don't have my MBA. You know, I have as much experience. I have the knowledge I have with entrepreneurship and building, but the resources is the most important part, because you want to direct them to the people who can help them with everything. Because if they have to continually tell their story to multiple people, then it gets tiring, you know, especially if they feel like they have to talk about their domestic violence every time. So you want to be able to give them to an organization that can kind of answer all their questions. And then they have all these other resources to give them, because then hopefully they can meet an advocate there that's going to be able to help them more with their business. Okay, good. So these are a lot of the resources. They can benefit from free online classes. Actually, in New Jersey, I have, I don't know if you guys have something like this, but it's Rising Tide Business Academy, and it's only for around 3 counties in New Jersey. But it's a nonprofit business academy that helps low-income entrepreneurs who are still trying to build their business. They get free 12 classes. It's a 12-class beginner business program. Completely free if they're on unemployment or if they get social services. And if they have a job, it's still under $150 for 12 classes. And they learn everything possible in those 12 classes, right? And after that, when I've had clients go through those classes, after that, they've felt so much better about their choice to become an entrepreneur. They're like, wow, it's possible. Like, I've met other people who are in the same situation as well. So resources when it comes to businesses, helping them create that community, that network is really important, because everyone knows networking and having a business is very important. But marketing and those kinds of things are not self-explanatory. You know, you have to really sit down and learn more about it. So some of the free classes, they can come from the Small Business Administration, the SBA. I'm sorry if you guys can hear me clearly. My dog is barking. Let's see. SBA, it's everywhere, and a lot of the resources stem from the SBA. But they have funding opportunities like everywhere. I've always had clients reach out to them, and then they have their own branch for women entrepreneurs. That's the best part too. So they have funding opportunities to be able to help beginner entrepreneurs. They actually have a really good learning platform specifically for women. It's called Ascent for Women, and it's free online learning. So if you go to the website, I don't know if you guys can write it down directly from there, if we could put it in the chat, but the learning platform on there is really good, and it's free for women. So it would be, again, another good resource. And then you guys have the New York Small Business Development Center. We have them all over New Jersey as well. They're in every state, and they're branched off of the SBA. So they have funding as well. They have all the funding they need. They have the classes, and it's more local. So they give local assistance. So you pretty much put in your zip code, and they'll give you the closest small business development center. A lot of the time they're within a college. So in New Jersey, we have it in Kane University. In New York, it may be in universities as well. Okay, thanks for putting that in there, yes. And then the New York City Small Business Services is another one. Again, a lot of these places have all same things, but different way sometimes. But all these places have information about funding, information for beginner business owners. So it's very good. And then within the New York City Small Business Service, it's the Women Entrepreneur NYC. And it's pretty much, it's just for women-owned businesses, which I love because there's not enough. We need more women-owned businesses, and that's why these services are out there to specifically help with that. But they give funding opportunities, free classes, and they also talk about contracting with other businesses if you're working in contracting. So they're really good resources if you want to give these to clients who are looking to be an entrepreneur. You know, they don't have to quit their other job, but they can start researching on how to build their business so eventually they can quit their other job, right? So this is, a lot of the times, this is the things that clients will do while they're at their, 9-to-5 job. It's a lot of work though, especially after a long day, as you have to go to learning classes. But again, it comes to the client's passion. If they're really passionate about a career as an entrepreneur, then this is something that they have to be pushed to do. A lot of the time I'll get clients, I'll continually send them resources, especially now, at least with us, we still don't see clients. So it's all over the phone and through email. So I will continually send them the resources. Sometimes they just don't connect though, and it happens. And for a while I was kind of blaming myself. I was like, you know what, maybe I wasn't empowering them enough to want to use any of the resources I gave them. But it's not that. It's, you always kind of turn it inward sometimes as a social worker, and you're like, oh, it's my fault. But it's not. It's just they're not in the right headspace. They don't want to reach out to these things right now. And we can't do everything for them. We can't continually hold the hand. They have to do it when they're ready. So it's, you can give them as many resources as possible. I say to do it slowly so you don't bombard them with everything. Go through one at a time. And if there's not something they need at that one, go to the next one. But do it, again, slowly at their pace, because it's a lot. So again, if you don't have your MBA or anything, you can still start off with something, while trying to find these resources with them for entrepreneurial clients. Making a business plan is probably one of the most important things before. When clients reach out to resources, when it comes to funding, always the first thing is, well, do you have any sort of business plan? So that's what you want to work on first with clients. If you want to be more hands-on with the client, then definitely you can start business planning with them. You can look online and find they have some formats for business plans, or even just have a discussion about it and write down what the client's goals are as an entrepreneur. Have a very real conversation, just like you would if you would have a conversation about a career in healthcare, right? So make it, again, it's not, some clients have said, I've always had the dream to be an entrepreneur or to have a business. We want to take it out of that dream and bring it into reality. So referrals to other business resources, it makes it very real for them. Going to these classes, getting homework, some of these, they give homework, they make you work, but it's good, it's building towards what they want. Okay, business planning as well, to figure out the cost of things, because a lot of people, when they're thinking of building a business, they're thinking of, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to build a business, to start a business, obviously, but there's ways to go about doing it. There's ways to get funding, as all the ones I just gave you, all those places have step by step of how to get funding in New York. It's better to go specifically to the state, because every state's different when it comes to LLCs, when it comes to everything. So stick within your state. But again, start the conversation. These are the three things I'll start with, because at least there's the three most important things that I understand as well. You want to list spending on assets. So these are the things that the client needs to buy for the business to sustain. So my client who was making clothing, her sewing kit, her whole sewing station was her that was her business. So those are her assets. So you have to look at, okay, how much longer do you have that? Is it getting old? Do you need to buy one, soon? So you want to be able to list these things. So the things you need in your business is this. Okay. What's the cost of buying those things? That's what the research is. You go online, you look at the research of how much that costs. And And then those are your assets. And then I say, once you have those things, you know, your sewing machine, whatever you need, those are your assets in the business, right? So you're already invested in the business. And then you want to list spending on expenses. Like, what's the cost of building the business? What's the cost of them continually buying materials? People who are building websites, what's the cost of building a website? So getting the cost of things down on paper is good. It's pretty stressful because it'll add to a lot, but you need to make sure you put it in the client's perspective and say, listen, this is going to take, again, it's a process. I know this looks like a lot of money, but there's ways to go about it, and there's funding to get. And then it'll determine how much they need to get started. And again, it makes it very real for them. So this is the number we need. So now let's go to funding and see if you can afford that, right? So with my clients, this is the client that was completely adamant against career planning. I say a few weeks, but let me say it was probably like 3 to 4 months. She brought it up to me. I didn't bring it up again because of the reaction I had got. I was like, I think me bringing it up is going to hurt her more than anything. But she's the one that brought it up. She's like, I remember because she said in the beginning, she goes, I don't want a big discussion about it, but I do eventually want to be a business owner because she makes jewelry. I was like, perfect. That's someplace too. So I talked about it a little with her, and then I let it go. Because again, she's like, I don't want a big thing on it, but if you want an answer, this is my answer. I want to own a business and sell my jewelry. I was like, great. It seemed like she was doing it more for my benefit, that I needed an answer to it. So I found that a little funny. But then a few weeks later, she was asking me about business classes. And I was like, that's the way to do it. It's their pace. It's the healing process they're on. They've been through a lot. You have to give them the space and the time, and they'll eventually get to that point. She was given the rising tide information, and she finished the 12 weeks and is selling jewelry and making sales, and has a part-time job on the side. But that's where she built to. And this is after a year process, but that's what you get to after a while. And then my other client, she was thankfully able to, the CompTIA classes and stuff, they can be expensive, but she was able to get into a grant program at Union County College in New Jersey, and she was able to receive the certifications she needed. And it was funny, she knew all the information, but it was in English. And her first language was Spanish, so she was worried. But when she applied herself, she realized that she can read and write pretty well in English. So she was able to complete the certification and is now going towards more advanced ones. And now she's a full-time computer repair. So, it's a lot, but thankfully she was covered by a grant, so she didn't have any of that financial burden. But that's when the research and the resources is so important. But it takes a while to get there. It takes a while to get there with clients. Don't blame them. That is it for the presentation. I did want to go through, there were a couple other resources. For New York, I was found out that during the pandemic, there was an online learning platform that was brought up, Coursera. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but in Coursera, you pretty much register for, it was with the New York Department of Labor, and you pretty much register for a free account. And then they have, the list is like 4,000 programs. They have project management, marketing, cybersecurity, medical neuroscience, supply chain operations, Facebook social media, on and on. It did mention it has the free account, but when it comes to how free the certifications are, I didn't get to that point. But it's good to look into. If you can make a free account and look through, and if the price is possible, if something the client's interested in one of those, that could be a good option. And then within that program, it's the 599 program. It's when unemployed clients can receive benefits while they attend a training course that has been approved by the Department of Labor. So they kind of get rid of the requirement of having to apply to jobs if you're in one of those programs, if you're actively doing a certification, which is great. That makes sense. It's hard when you're getting unemployment, trying to build your career and take class, but being forced to apply to jobs that you don't want just for the Department of Labor. So that's a good program they have too. And then lynda.com, it's the LinkedIn Learning, which is actually pretty good. You have even more certifications and classes on there as well that clients can go to. You get 1 month free, and I believe then you have to pay for it. But if clients want an easier way to find classes to take about certain topics, lynda.com is a good one too. And that is it for this presentation. I wanted to see if there were any questions. Let me open it up. Let me just go through. Just try and look through if there's any here. Yeah, PowerPoint recordings available. Yep. Nutritionist certification. That's going to be, I would look at the Department of Labor with the state, because when it comes to certifications, again, every state has, some counties have different things too, but I would look up nutritionist certifications in New York and go to any .gov or any like accredited institution. That's what you want to go towards. But honestly, looking up Department of Labor definitely has all the information you need when it comes to those types of things. But again, always look for those .govs, those accredited institutions, because it's never happened, but like God forbid a client gets a certification at an institution where it doesn't count, or like to the state, that would be horrible. So definitely make sure that it all counts for the state. I want to open up for questions. Okay, if you don't have any too, but.
Thank you, Nicole. I think it's really good to have all these advocates here. I'm sure in their work, they already share resources. So if there is, there are any resources that other advocates, because I see some familiar names, they do have, they can like post it and share it with others.
All for undocumented. There are, you know what? I will come back next week with that information for you for undocumented people. Thank you for reminding me. That is very important. In New Jersey, it just started where they're allowed to get free certifications, but I will 100% come back next week with all the information for undocumented. Yes, in New York for you guys, okay? Force you to come back next week, but thank you for that. But when it comes to a lot of my clients who were undocumented are the ones that wanted to become entrepreneurs. These classes, when it comes to like SBA and things like that, funding opportunities, they're going to need, you know, when it comes to funding for a business, they're going to need their, you know, some sort of papers. But when it comes to classes, like when it comes to Coursera and things like that, I'm not 100% sure. So I will definitely look into that. But with the SBA and things like that, they can still do the free business counseling. I don't think that they would need a social security number just to get the free counseling for it. But when it comes to the funding and things like that, that's when they'll need papers. But I will come back and make sure that I have all that for you guys.
We do have the Neo Economy Project for immigrants. I think that's like first place to check for the immigrants or undocumented survivors. So I would refer, but we can also look into it more closely and work with Nicole and send it to you participants.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, good. Yes. I know it's tough when it comes to certifications. My undocumented clients, when it comes to trying to find classes, it's really tough. It's so much harder trying to, because a lot of these certification programs, they register with the state, you know, and they're accredited. So, you know, sometimes the certifications aren't for undocumented. but they just passed something in New Jersey that does allow free certifications for undocumented. But it's just, they've got to get to the point where they can establish it. I haven't seen a lot of established things for my undocumented clients. And when I do give them resources, they're a little worried that they're like, I don't know who I'm talking to. What if they ask if I'm documented? So it's a lot more, yeah, you got to be a lot more careful and make sure you're sending them places where they're not going to be asked 5 billion questions. So that's when it comes to the funding and stuff, though probably not, but I'll come back with more information for you guys. Thank you.
I'm not sure if there is any other questions or any comments that anyone would like to share with us here, or even resources.
Yeah, guys, please fill out the evaluation too, because I want to make sure the last 2 are good for you guys and you're getting everything you need. So fill out the evaluation and just add any comments. The last 2 are really going to be about interviewing. So if you have something specific that you want to go over when it comes to interviewing, and we're going to go through the laws, some laws, what can be asked, what can't be asked in interviews, things like that. So fill out the evaluation and you can definitely, you know, put, you know, I'm going to be reading them. So if you say for the next session for interviewing, can you cover this? I want to make sure I cater it to what you guys need, okay?
Yeah, and then I posted the link for the next 2 webinars to register. And I think it's going to be exciting to go through all that questions and mock interviews.
Gotcha. Oh, resume building was we went over it a little in the first one, in the first presentation. Yeah. Job readiness.
I just posted the link for the resources and where you can find the recording for the first presentation that talked about resume building.
Thank you so much for coming, guys. This is great.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. We're really happy. We're again sorry we started 10 minutes late. Hopefully it won't happen next time. Let us know if you have any questions and we'll be in touch in the next webinar, the 3rd one. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you,
so
Jennifer. Yes,
Thanks.
thank you, everyone.